I have some other weird kind of anti-inflammatory if you want it.
There's very few I can take.
Okay.
It'll be fine. Most of what I would like to take, I can't travel.
You what?
What I really want to take, I can't travel with me.
Oh, that's a nice piece of. Oh, it's totally legal in New Hampshire.
It's not, but it is in Vermont, so I just.
Yeah. It's still not legal in Italy, but I'm finding a way. Especially, it's great as an immigrant. Questionable residency status.
Who hasn't even passed a driver's test?
Who cannot pass the driver's test.
Ever? Here in the States or in Italy?
Well, I have passed it in the States, but Italy, no. It's a big question.
There's no digital version of this book that you can like run through Google Translate.
After he said that with the ChatGPT, I was like,
ChatGPT could coach you through it.
summarize this Italian and English. But then the test is in Italian, so I'm
Yeah,
screwed.
that's.
Doesn't matter, I'm screwed.
You need like a little ChatGPT earbud. Give it a year or two.
I don't know why.
It'll exist, yeah.
So I
Take a picture.
not on YouTube, but then it said 100 GB is available and it's stopped. Like when it fills up, but 100 GB should be fine.
So I'm gonna go through all of these and then I'm gonna let you respond to
Yeah,
2,
on the
3,
other
4.
box.
So, basically, yeah, read through the charges and then ask them one at a time. So that,
Oh, ask them one at a time.
so I'd say like, here's the whole list of charges,
And then go through them.
and then ask one, and then I'll respond to that.
Two.
Yeah. That, that'll kind of help me not forget what I'm doing.
I think we'll call to order in another minute or so.
Okay.
See if anyone else comes in. You know.
Fine with me.
Yeah? Good. I'm gonna read through my lines.
Y'all are live and recording.
Perfect. All right, let's get started. All rise and welcome the presiding. All rise. All rise. And welcome the presiding judge, the Honorable Martha Burtis.
Have a seat, have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. I'm gonna need my microphone.
Oh,
All right. This court is going to hear the case of ds106, represented by prosecutor and sometimes bailiff, Reverend Jim Groom, versus the accused, one Paul Bond, also known as PHB 256. Is that correct? PHB 256. And we're going to hear the responses of the accused. Members of the jury, you, will then be instructed on how to proceed. I will provide those instructions based on the facts presented. The prosecutor will give the charges, and the prisoner will give his statement.
thank you, Your Honor. May I take the mic?
Yes, you may.
Well, today we are looking at this accused miscreant, one Paul Bond, also known as PHB 256, and whatever other names he may be known on, with the following charges. 1, the infiltration and usurpation of the ds106 course. 2, what he did coast on the coattails of the founders. 3, failure to innovate and failure to keep up with the changes of the web. And finally, 4, and possibly most important, that he did leave the course in danger of being a relic of the web that was. So, Mr. Bond, how do you defend yourself to the charges I have read? For example, number 1, the infiltration and usurpation of the ds106 course. Speak for yourself.
Yes, it's all true. I heard the word of Dr. Oblivion back in the day of the MOOC. And, I found ds106, a community on the web, and it welcomed me with open arms, like my home, on the web. It let me experiment, try things out, even if it didn't make any sense or serve any purpose. But ds106, it's more than a course. It's a community where intrepid learners really can freely play with digital media and investigate the possibilities on the open web. For members of the jury who may not be familiar with ds106, this was an open online digital storytelling course. All the students get their own web space where they have their own, host their own blogs, and they will experiment with different types of digital media, exploring ways to create art on the web and narrating their progress through the course as they do it. Building on a course that's on the web and of the web. I was even invited to help lead the course, and even given a section of my own with the founders. We worked together to experiment around various themes, creating stories through in and around genres like film noir, the Western, the wire, Bob Ross, 80s pop culture. Did I take control of the course? You could say that.
You could.
You could say that I took care of the course and nurtured it, while others, sort of abandoned it to become thought leaders.
Well, you take that into consideration, jury. Number 2 accusation charge, that he did coast on these aforementioned founders of the ds106 course. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I will also confess to being a coattail rider. When I came to ds106, the infrastructure, the framework, they were all well established and very solid. The philosophy, make art, damn it, that was very clear. It made it easy to manage the chaos that comes with giving everyone freedom to do their own thing, really, to express themselves and to make their course their own. And I kept playing with semester-long themes, as some people had established. They change from semester to semester, so it isn't totally static, but the idea there was to foster, use the theme to foster interaction and collaboration as we're all exploring our own different stories. We would play with new tools, platforms, like Hypothesis or Instagram or Discord, things like that, see how they might help us out. It wasn't entirely stagnant, but, the core remained stable. So yes, I did ride those coattails. Stable.
Well, that's good, and I'd like to hear you respond to the next charge, which I think is incontrovertible evidence of what has happened, the failure to innovate and the failure to keep up with the changes in the web. Speak for yourself.
Yes. I admit to being slow to adapt. I'm not entirely sure all those changes are a good thing, but ds106 has really kind of straddled the web that was, the web that is, the web that will be, in a lot of different ways. It was born out of the blogosphere, wired through social media, back in more hopeful days, perhaps, but still, it fostered connections online. Part of the web that was. We were also kind of, I think, looking back into the past, as part of remix culture, we would bring in, as I said, 80s culture, film noir, stuff like that, basis for stories into our modern day. And again, we were still also like navigating issues of privacy and ownership. Part of the course took place in the cloud, so part of the web to be, perhaps.
And your innovation, sir?
Innovation? But do we need to innovation? Is that what we want ds106 to be? I don't know.
That he did leave the course. And this is the final accusation, and I believe the most important. That he did leave the course in danger of being a relic of the web that was. Speak.
But is it really? Are the changes on the web for the better? Do we want to be always keeping up with a new thing, or do we want to be, a rebel alliance against the corporatization of the web? Do we want to be part of that crypto blockchain empire? My view, I think, my defense, is that ds106 represents the web as it ought to be. A web where we have our own domains, our own spaces, a web that serves as infrastructure to connect our domains, our people. A place that we can make art of, on, with the web. Yes, so many of these charges are true. But I have to appeal to the jury and the court for mercy. But honorable, good people of the jury, I know you share the dream, the vision of a better web for all. And I beg of you to let your collective wisdom help light the way to a new, better ds106. Will the good people of the jury offer up ideas? How can ds106, a digital storytelling course, be of the web and on the web without being tainted by a web that increasingly sucks?
This is the strangest case I've ever heard. And none of this makes any sense. Apparently, you are not rendering a verdict as to whether or not the accused is guilty. You are going to come up with ideas about how to fix an online course about digital storytelling. This court has heard the charges and the defendant's desperate pleas. The jury has been asked to offer ideas to modernize the ds106 course. Your deliberations will determine the fate of the accused. You may now discuss amongst yourselves until the prosecutor calls for your verdict. Do they need to choose a foreman?
Yes. There will be someone who will be a spokesperson for
You
the
must.
jury.
I believe there are 12 of you. Maybe there's a 13th alternate in the room in case somebody is called away for important personal reasons.
Yes, exactly.
You're going to have to elect a foreman. You're going to need, you may, I believe, consult with,
Gowden will recuse given his relationship to
as opposed to the judge and the prosecutor not recusing,
And
given their relationship. But again, a strange case.
I will also say that the court is open for questions if you need clarification.
Excuse me. How do you get to say the court is open for questions? You may direct your questions to me. I will get you answers. Please, we need to have a little rule of law here.
Here's a question about juries. Can A.I. Levine be on the jury?
I believe A.I. Levine could consult with the jury. Yes, I believe that is okay.
we have the medium.
You may, in fact, may,
Actually, AI Levine will be the foreman.
I nominate him as our.
as a foreman. You also could,
DS 106, so I'm not sure.
you also could just use AI to do all of your work, and you could go out and have a drink. I mean, because that's about how sensical any of this
Your
is.
Honor, how long do they have to deliberate?
I don't make the program for
the
this
time?
bizarre conference. How long do they have? When is this trial over?
I didn't realize this. There's an update that I learned when I asked Jim to talk about ds106 and the history of and I didn't realize this should have been presented as part of the evidence.
Jim Groom, along with his colleague Alan Levine, co-founded DS106
Wait, let's pause
and
that.
developed a framework
Wait.
that blended traditional coursework.
Did I hear that right?
Jim Groom, along with his colleague Alan Levine, co-founded
Does this man even have status as a controller and founder of DS106? This man, AI Levine says, Alan, who's Alan Levine?
There's some questions to Alan's interpretation of his early.
No, no, this is AI. This is AI Levine's
This judge has some
perspective.
opinions about AI's statement.
I don't know. I just asked the question and AI Levine answered.
You know, AI only gives as good as you put in. So if you feed it lies, that's what you get back, AI Levine. Yes, that prosecutor did play a role in the founding of DS106.
Yes, he did. So we will have 10 minutes. Does that make sense?
We have a total of 13 minutes left.
13?
Yeah, 11:55.
Okay.
So
13
you have
minutes.
6 minutes or 7 minutes to come up with a solution to save DS106 for this, our accused, and then we will hear whoever you decide, whether it's AI Levine, your recommendations. Go for it. For those of you who don't know DS106, there are people here who you can pair with, who can inform you, like Brian, like Laura, like Joe, right? Am I correct? Cartland, I'm sure you do know some of it. Tim, obviously, very crucial too. Anne Marie. So I know it's a little bit inside, but it is a fun course. Take a look and talk about
I don't know what you're talking about.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, perfect. How are you feeling? Confused?
Kangaroo court.
Yeah, right.
DS 106 the daily creative.
It didn't really help them say what it is, but it was
fun idea.
Of course, you
look good as a judge.
storytelling class.
Judge
Being co-founder.
Co-founder.
Adjuncts and taught.
Well, I do think you were my first real co-conspirator in that.
All of Jim's enthusiasm.
Is that true?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe so. And then you also
Interesting
built
aspects of it, including, from my perspective.
Funny, because
Every
like,
time
the
you
way in which
out
that
in the open
comes,
contribute to
it's
science.
just then that's the history.
And
It's not even him saying it now, it's not even like a credit, like, it's like history.
And there was
No,
just.
I visited the world. I visited this one because I tried to put an end to DS106. I tried to put this thing to sleep years ago.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Now you teach zombie DS106 because, you know, it ended.
Students were
Brought it back to life.
Web and it was
As
a
they talk, one of the things that I've been thinking is, we have this whole, so I wanna take DS106 to site, which is still live and working, and I wanna move it to a kind of multi-region setup, but I also wanna pull in this peer tube and live streaming. And with the radio, and just play with, if we wanna think of it still as a sandbox, I'd like to play with some of the new media tools that are coming out. Like how that would work, and like, you know, Mastodon, like would it be cool to have its own server so that people can maybe do it there as the open source and play? Like, I don't know, like, I do think there are new tools, should we get a course with the teacher again, just to play with it. I mean, luckily I'm not nostalgic for DS106 in that way, because I feel like in some ways it's like anything, it's still with me. The ideas feed it. But I think think until you teach a course again, it's very hard, right, to feel that commitment. And it's when you're doing the syllabus or imagining the course that you can start thinking of the infrastructure. So I think that would be the kick for me, is to have a
That's
course
where
to
he
teach.
deserves the most credit.
Which I'd love to do. It's been a while.
Is that it does still go on and
Um,
on. though
And
I was
always
talking
like
to-
teaching that course together, not alone.
I was talking with Ben Harwood earlier. He was thinking about proposing a DS-106 type course at Skidmore, and he was especially interested in AI assignments.
Robotics, AI, and assignments all around. And it would be a fun way to deal with AI without being either all in or, because I've been pushing, I've been just ignoring it. And I do want to do what Brian Alexander's doing and kind of explore it, but I'm scared of it. But that would be a fun way to interrogate it. I
I mean,
like that way.
I've only played with it minimally.
Yeah, me too. My son is like, you're an idiot, you need to get on the bus. My youngest Tommy, he's on that bus. He's like a blender guy. He wants direction. Next thing for him is a 3D printer. Listen, D&Ds.
Different level of, is there a
Yeah, he is cool. He's a mini me. He's the only one I have.
Greatest he knows, well, how old is he?
Going into high school.
I don't wanna do.
13.
I don't wanna do, I don't wanna do
Here it
this
is.
stories, but
Real
I will do
Italian,
another
Surf American. So he learned to read and write.
or I really wanna do film.
He's funny, he's like 6 foot now though. I don't know what to do with him. He's gigantic.
Would there be something like?
Both all my kids, they're like fully grown. Like I see your kids do. So, Graham, he's the one who's been growing. Yeah, like he's 12.
And Graham's gonna be a sophomore.
Time?
His freshman
What
year.
I got out of this is that
We'll call for a verdict.
Graham Potter was probably one of the most.
We have total 7 minutes remaining.
Total, yeah, so when it's to 5 minutes, bring them back.
Hey, I'll create an internet radio station with AI, just take it over anytime, so you can talk about what you do in
Do
class.
you have a, we have a big
And that
data
alone
room?
was like.
No.
Got your work. All in and take over from the telephone. But even that has like this radio still exists.
I was wondering if we come up with like interesting ideas, you know.
ds106 about AI would be cool. What tech classes are you teaching?
It's a very different, but it's a very different culture than what you're
And what do you
describing.
deal, like, what's?
Their core courses are basically helping students create their custom major and then do projects where they're bringing together the disciplines that they've chosen for their programs. So I'm teaching the seminar, the senior
I
seminars,
think it's
right?
more about like finding someone to give it to.
They all have to do projects related
This
to
is
their
how I
custom.
wanna like build a.
How many classes you teach?
Like they see it as a.
I haven't taught since spring
Like you have to
20,
kind
I
of let
didn't
it
need it.
go.
But
Or
I'm
see just
teaching
go on its own.
this fall, I think I'm gonna do a different course in the spring, I might teach like a gen ed course in the spring. And then next year,
It did used
my
to get
colleagues
like
going,
the
both Robin and Matt Cheney are going on sabbatical.
It was,
So I'm gonna have
it was
to
called, it was literally, if you look at the
Just
Wikipedia page, it calls it.
That's spring.
that go for the whole
It's
year.
in there, which is.
Next fall, like fall of 24, spring of 25.
And some people call it a call.
I'm gonna have to cover
I used
probably.
on that website.
So a year, a full year from now. So,
So this year I'm just doing one.
if we were to get funding and.
I could do something in the spring,
Could
next
you,
spring.
next spring of
I could,
24?
and there's actually a digital storytelling class. I don't know whether or not I could teach it.
But even if you can't, like, let's say we can get a digital storytelling class, like Skidmore, I can talk to Georgetown or whatever, and we get one. If you were interested, like,
Alan's been adding lots of AI tool things to the assignment bank.
Alan or AI Levine?
Well, for Alan, I'm sure. Now I have grave doubts about.
It's possible that just some AI.
Wait, okay, so here is it. Remember Dr. Oblivion? What if AI Levine teaches the course? The whole thing. And we just feed it.
We can actually, no. We can have Dr. Oblivion teach, but it's.
I was wondering
AI.
Yeah, AI oblivion. Exactly.
That I'm way more.
Anyway, so some of you have been roped into a terrible, but DS106 should always be part art experiment, part course to help students think through this. And I think AI is something we all need help thinking through right now. So it's a good topic. It's timely. So is that the verdict? Would you all agree that Paul needs to dig deep?
So wait a minute.
Should I give this to you? Hold on.
You didn't need, this is such classic groom BS here. He didn't need us at all. He's just here to rope us into one of his new schemes. That's what this is. He just suddenly just turned this into, hey, why don't you follow me again on another journey with this idea? But that's cool, I'll do it.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Paul, for bringing this all out. It was beautiful.
Thank you for not executing me.
I don't want to go to the contempt charges against Groom.